Now, no section of the internet would be complete unless Scott had something to incorporate into it. Oh yes, you know him from all of those wonderful first-person review videos that I've done with all the scopes that he sent in for review. Well, he just so happened to also send in an Olight weapon light. This one in particular, the Baldor Pro. What is special about this? Well, if you're unfamiliar with it, it not only is a 1350 lumen light, but it's also got a green laser built in. In typical Olight fashion, you have a beautiful white box. Very simple, gives you most of the information you're going to need. Honestly, that's basically it. We crack this puppy open. Read me! Okay, I'll read you. Before first use, please open the tail caps as the picture shown. Take off the insulation film, then cover the tail cap. Okay, I don't need to worry about that because that's already been done. Again, very good packaging, just like we saw with the Mini Valkyrie 2. And a user manual, which, oh look, it actually opens in half. So, oh look at that, it's actually like, is there any sort of information that we might need? Nope, there are all your specifications, laser off, high, low. That's about it. So there's everything you're going to need to know. And with that, let's throw this off to the side and take a look at the light itself. So unlike the Mini Valkyrie and Valkyrie 2 that I reviewed, this uses proprietary batteries. Flip this cap open, and you have two CR123A lithium batteries. Now, these are just obviously regular lithiums. You can buy rechargeable versions and do it that way. I find it easier to just sometimes have a stockpile of these. They last, they last a while, and well, they're easy to replace as long as you get this clip just right. Let's take a look at the mounting or the top part of this weapon light first and work our way down. So just like the other two Olights that I reviewed, this has the same quick release lever. This one still has the GL Glock rail on it. I think the 1913 rails under there. I think Scott uses this for his Glock, which I will say this thing is pretty damn big. As you can see, almost 4 inches long, and it weighs substantially more, I would say, than the Valkyrie. Yep, about 2 whole ounces heavier. The Mini Valkyrie 2 was, I believe, 2.5 ounces. So definitely on the chunky side. So quick release lever on top like you saw. On the back, we have on-off switch. Very similar to what we had on the other two, but you don't push down on these, you actually push them in. But before we get to that, let's look at the bottom, which houses the green laser right there. Now, how do you actually work this? Well, you'll see there's a little switch here at the bottom. It's a little hard to see, but you have 3 modes. You have laser only, laser and light, and then light only. Now, unlike the Mini Valkyries, this actually has 3 modes. Push on momentary, come off. Once to turn on, click it twice really quick. It'll go into brightness settings, so low and high. And then if you click them both at the same time, you have your strobe feature, which on this is going to give me a seizure. It's not that fast, but it is so freaking bright. Now that's just for the light itself. Shut it off, come down here, switch it over to laser, on, off, hold, come off momentary, and that's it. Now, one cool thing is you could turn it on. You can then cycle through it if you want. It's kind of hard to see the laser and the light, but they're both on, and then the light by itself. So it is cool that you can just change it at a whim whenever you like. But enough of me talking about this on tabletop. Let's actually put this into use. All right, here is the Olight Baldor Pro at about 33 yards. We have 2 IPSC targets down there for scale, and I have just a pick rail exposed on this to give you an idea of how it's going to look downrange. So we're going to start with the flashlight on its brightest setting. Let's see if I can get it into its low setting. You have a good sense of just the different brightnesses there. It does make a difference. It has a pretty wide pattern at this distance. Again, we're about 33 yards. Now we're going to go light and laser, and then just laser. All right, this is about 33 yards. Let's step it up to about 15 yards and see what it looks like. Roughly at 15 yards here. Let's turn it on again. This should be high. Double click for low. That's pretty dang bright. Switch it over to light and laser, and just laser. I'm going to step this back in a little bit so we can see how focused that laser is at distance. And you know, while we're here, strobe is quite annoying. We're going to check that out a little bit more soon. Let's step it up to about 5 yards. That is bright. That is low, or high and low, whatever. You can see that there's a pretty nice focus to the beam at this distance. On, double click for low. See what the strobe looks like. That is extremely annoying, and me standing here watching this is quite nauseating. So if you have that pointed at someone, it's going to be extremely disorienting. We're going to check that out a little bit more in a second. Light and laser, you can't really see it. It's on the white hostage target. There you can clearly see the laser. You go strictly to laser, and there you have it. So what does this light look like from the other end of the barrel? So this is bright mode at about 3 yards, and it is ridiculous, as you can see. Let's see how annoying strobe gets. This is about at 3 yards. If this was 60 frames a second, you'd probably be wanting to throw up 2 like I am. I would say it's quite effective. So here you can clearly see we have the green laser only on, as indicated right there. We're at about 60 yards. Let's walk the camera up and see how focused it looks. You can see the laser all the way down there, again about 60 yards. And you can see here from about 5 yards away already, it is not all that focused. It is very large, so about 2 of my fingers high, which is about an inch, inch and a half. However, for this thing's intended purpose, probably on a pistol, 60 yards, it's not really going to matter. And you know what, I'm not gonna get my face in there, but that would be fairly blinding. So we've already seen how this light works at distance. Again, at about 33 yards, in a fairly bright environment. What happens if we were to go into a dark environment really close up? This is the brightest mode this thing will get. These batteries are very fresh, or at least as fresh as I have currently. And you can see it's got a really nice pattern to it. Everything here is very close, very cluttered environment, something typical that you might, well, hopefully never have to actually engage in. But it does a really good job of keeping you on track and focused where the light is. It's got just enough bleed out to the sides where you can still see what's going on without it being too distracting to yourself. Now this is full bright. Let's kick it down to low. And again, it maintains that really nice ring. Excellent. And in strobe, it is just nauseating. Laser comes on. And the laser does a really good job of staying focused at distances like this. We're fairly close, probably maximum 10 yards, if that, and it's perfect. It's only when you get, as you just saw, to about 60 yards where you really have to worry about focus issues, but as long as it stays fairly tracked to where your zero is on your firearm, you have no worries about how well this laser is going to perform. Now it's time to see how the Baldor holds up in a 5-minute or so bath, because again, this thing should at least hold up a little bit of water, about 5 minutes or so. All right, about 5 minutes or so. Pull this out, shake it off, shake it off. Laser still works. And the light still works. No surprise there. So what do you get for this? Well, it's 150 bucks or so. Typically Olight runs sales constantly throughout the year, so I'm sure you could probably get this for a little bit less, but you get an extremely bright light and a usable laser out. What we were measuring there was about 60 yards or so. And I mean, yeah, at that distance it ballooned pretty big, but inside that, it's probably going to be perfectly fine for anything you might need it for. So for 150 bucks, if you're looking for something that's a good combination between a damn bright light and a green laser, I think this is a pretty good choice. But if this is right for you, check it out. Scott, thank you so much for sending this in for review. I know I've had it for quite some time, but don't worry, it's coming back to you very soon. And thank you all very much for watching. See you again next time. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.